Ah, yes. Flashback Friday has finally made an appearance on the Louie T Network podcast. This was supposed to happen last week, but like I said, I gave myself the day off last Friday heading into Father's Day weekend. So this is going to be a fun show. All of these Flashback Friday podcasts are always a ton of fun because you know I love to go down memory lane. Then let me take a trip down memory lane. Coming out of Queensbridge, back down memory lane on the LouieTeeNetwork podcast. Who else could it be? Me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to the 174th installment of the Louie T Network podcast. I, of course, am your set man, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. I got so much news for you guys today. I want to start with the thing that was bothering me the most, which was the camera issue. So if you watched the show last night, the Washington Football Report live last night, you saw that there were no issues with the camera. And remember, we had this discussion last episode of the podcast, and I was befuddled because I thought it was the battery, and I'd done all of these things to kind of set myself up to get by until some of the items that I had shipped or bought were shipped out to me, and I could make the adjustment to the battery and this, that, and the third. Well, remember, we had the issue. The camera still went out despite me making those adjustments, and I'm like, thought it was the battery this entire time. It has nothing to do with the battery. I said, I'm going to figure it out now. It's only a number of things it could be. Well, I figured it out, did some troubleshooting, and I said, if it's not the battery, then it's one of these two things. And it simply was a cord. That was it. It was simply a loose cord, a cord that wasn't in snug enough. And it was kind of loose because the port on the cord that was plugged into the camera, it was moving. So every time I would adjust the camera, I would put the cord back in, it would be fine. And then it would eventually fall down, and that would cause the camera to not be able to send the information to the computer, which would then have these blackouts essentially where you wouldn't be able to see my face. So figured that problem out. Problem solved. I'm excited about that. So that'll never happen again as far as me not knowing how to fix it. Now, obviously, if the next cord that I put in starts to loosen up and we have those issues, at least I know what the problem is now and I can try to correct it immediately. So that's behind us. It's in the rearview mirror. I just launched some Mob Squad merch. So if you're a Washington football team fan and you're a member of the Mob Squad and you didn't check out the show last night yet, or you haven't checked it out and you're not going to check it out, I'm going to tell you here that Mob Squad merch, hashtag Mob Squad, stand up. We in the building, okay? It's available on sale right now. Pre-orders are being taken, so get yours while supplies last. Limited quantity, so make sure you get your hands on it. We've got hats, dad hats. I'm a dad hat guy, you know that. Snapbacks as well. We've got shirts in black, in burgundy, in gold. So get you some merch. We've also got the hats are in camo and in black. So there's so much merch with this Mob Squad. I'm really trying to take that to the next level. It's a big initiative for me. So if you are out there and you're a part of the Mob Squad, you want to be a part of the Mob Squad, the links are all down in the description of this video. Every single one of those links. Also, a link to my other channel that I started, the CCS, is in the description of this video as well. If you haven't already done so, I'm going to continue to beg because that's what I do when I need something from you guys. So I'm going to continue to beg. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my other channel, the Card Collector series. The link is down in the description of this video. I am trying to get to 1,000 subs on my other channel. I've got a long way to go, but I can shorten that distance that I have to travel with your help. If you're out there, you don't have to watch the videos again. If you just subscribe, don't turn on the notification bell, you don't have to worry about what I'm uploading. You won't get notifications and it'll be out of sight, out of mind. I just need the subs. So if you could please subscribe to that channel, you would be a great help to me, your man, Louie T. With that said, thank you to all of you who already have subscribed. And I'm going to thank those of you who haven't in advance because I trust that you'll look out for your man, Louie T. With that said, don't want to hold you up. It's going to be a great show, and I got a lot to get to, and I don't know if I have all the time necessary to do it. So without any further delay, let's get to the proceedings this evening, shall we? I think we shall. Let me drop this gem on your melon. Open your mind, let your conscience be free. You're now rolling with your man, Louie T. Open you up. Let me get you thinking a little bit. So, I was listening to a couple of people talking, and then I ended up running across an article that kind of cross-referenced what they were referring to in the conversation that I was listening to. And that's future Hall of Fame wide receiver Calvin Johnson. Did he get in already? I don't think he got in already. But he will get in, okay? Heavens to Megatron! Was talking on a show on Woodward Sports, which is a YouTube channel. And it's a show called On the Hook. And he was doing an interview with them. And he talked about how, he was happy, quote unquote, happy for Matthew Stafford. And I believe him when he says he's happy. There was a little undertone of jealousy there where you could hear like, man, they let his ass out of out of Detroit. Why they ain't let me out of Detroit? Before I even start this conversation that we're about to have about Calvin Johnson and what he had to say about the situation in Detroit and his early retirement at the age of 30. As a Lions fan, doesn't it have to be painful, especially if you've been a Lions fan for like 35, 40 years? Doesn't it have to be excruciating that all of your best players always eventually want out? And when they can't get out, they just say, you know what? This organization is so bad, I'd rather just stop playing football altogether than continue to try to win here. Either let me go, let me be free, or else I'm going to retire and quit playing football altogether, even though I've got plenty of football left to play and to give. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that really frustrating? Could you imagine being a fan of the Detroit Lions and having two of the greatest players at their respective positions in the last 50 years quit with probably a good 5 years of prime football left early because of the organization and them not being able to get out? Can you imagine that as a fan? That's got to be frustrating. Barry Sanders is the reason I fell in love with the game of football. Guy was the best running back these eyes have ever seen, and he quit after rushing for 2,000 yards, essentially. If it wasn't a year after he rushed for 2,000 yards, it was like a year or two after rushing for 2,000 yards. I mean, the guy had plenty of football left, and he was like, nah, I'm done. This sucks. And I'm pretty sure if the Lions would have said, hey, Barry, you've been a soldier. Well, we'd like to trade you. We'd like to give you an opportunity to win. I guarantee you Barry Sanders would have kept playing football. He simply said it wasn't fun playing in Detroit anymore. They weren't any good. He was sick and tired of being the only guy on the team that was any good. They weren't winning anything of note. He rushed for 2,000 yards and they still didn't make the postseason. I mean, when does that ever happen? Normally if your running back rushes for 2,000 yards, your team is pretty damn good. But only the Detroit Lions can have a rusher go for 2,000 yards and not make the postseason. Only the Detroit Lions can have a receiver almost go for 2,000 yards receiving and not even be close. They were one of the worst teams in the league that year, if you recall, when Calvin Johnson was on his quest for 2,000 yards receiving. They might have won 4 games that year. Maybe. They were terrible. Only the Detroit Lions. When Jamal Lewis ran for 2,000 yards, the Ravens were a really good team. I think they either made this. I don't think they made the Super Bowl that year. They may have, but they were definitely in the AFC divisional round playoffs at worst. And I can't confirm nor deny that, but go look it up. When he ran for 2,000 yards, I guarantee you the Ravens were a playoff team and they probably won a game or two in the postseason. We just saw Derrick Henry run for 2,000 yards this past year. When did they get to they got to the wild card weekend. They lost to the Baltimore Ravens, but they made it to the postseason. They won their division. I could go on and on. Terrell Davis ran for 2,000 yards. They made it to the Super Bowl, I think, that year. If not the year before that or after that, whatever the case may be. It's rare that you rush for 2,000 yards and your team doesn't make the postseason. But the Lions didn't. Calvin Johnson was damn near at 2,000 yards receiving, and they weren't even close. They weren't even a good team. They didn't even make it to 500. I digress. So Calvin Johnson was speaking on Woodward Sports on The Hook. And this is what Calvin Johnson had to say. Quote, "You know what? It sucked that they didn't let me go. But they let Matthew go. But hey, you know, it is what it is." Close quote. He also then went on to say, "I would have played anywhere else in the league. I didn't care where. I just didn't want to play in Detroit anymore. I would have played for any other team. Just let me go. Trade me, release me, whatever you got to do. Just let me free. Free me." Essentially is what the man said. Let me go. And they wouldn't do it. They would not do it. So he said, you know what? I'm going to retire. Isn't that amazing? And the Lions, I won't say they've been petty because he did quit early. So they decided they wanted to recoup some of the money that they gave him up front, some of that bonus money. They wanted some of it back. And, you know, we've seen organizations in the past, i.e. the Indianapolis Colts with Andrew Luck, say, you know what? You decide to hang it up early. We really love what you've done for us in your short period of time as our starting quarterback. Hey, take all of that money that you got in your last deal. Take that money. Don't worry about it. We're good. NFL franchises make enough money where you don't have to sweat the small stuff. And I get it. We're talking about millions upon millions of dollars, and every owner isn't created equal. Every owner doesn't have the same pockets. Some owners' pockets are deeper than others, right? But they decided they wanted to be petty. Oh, you want to quit? You want to retire? Okay, give me back some of my money. And he's like, dude, y'all really gonna do me like that? After all the surgeries I've had, all the things I've went through to play football for your organization, you gonna really treat me like this? Okay, fine. He's like, right now I'm not a part of the Lions family right now. They haven't welcomed me back in, and I don't want to be back in until they extend that olive branch. They haven't done that yet. That's going to be a little frosty for a while, similar to the Barry Sanders situation. It was a little frosty for a little while. You know, Barry wasn't coming back to these Lions functions for about a good decade plus. And then finally, you know, I don't know who reached out to who and who extended the olive branch, but they finally agreed to let bygones be bygones, and now Barry Sanders is an advocate for the Detroit Lions. Eventually, we'll get there with Calvin Johnson, too. But right now, it's still a little frosty. You know, and I hold a little resentment towards the Lions organization. Every year that people say the Lions are going to be good this year, we don't have to worry about that shit this year. For the first time in probably the last 7 years, we're not going to have to worry about the sleek pick being the Detroit Lions. Look out for Matthew Stafford and the Detroit Lions. We don't got to worry about that shit this year. They're going to be ass-tastic this year, okay? The Lions are going to stink. I hold a little resentment towards the Detroit Lions. I do. I harbor ill will and bad feelings towards them for having two of the legends of the game essentially retire because they ran them out of the game. They ran them out of the game. They ran them out of the league. Especially Barry. I'll never, just like I will never, ever forgive the Atlanta Falcons, the 98 Falcons, for effing up my Super Bowl. I will, as long as I live, I won't forgive the Falcons. But the blame isn't so much on the Falcons as it is Gary Anderson. Goddamn Gary Anderson. And man, was he a good ass kicker. But when they needed him the most, he goddamn, his ass cheeks got tight. Gary effing Anderson. I'll never forgive him. Never. Anyway, I got some ill will towards the Detroit Lions organization. That's not one, but two legends of the game that essentially said, I'd much rather retire than keep playing for you. We, as fans, were robbed of 5 more prime years of Barry Sanders, 3 at the least. And another 3 or 4 prime years of Calvin Johnson. And then just a Megatron. Because that organization was so pitiful that those guys said, either let me go or I'm done. And the organization said, no, we want you here. And they said, okay, well then I won't be anywhere. I'm done. That's amazing. It really, truly is. And to hear him talk about the fact that, because you never know the details of situations like this until you hear it from the horse's mouth, until you actually hear that player speak out, or the organization, or somebody that was close to the organization, somebody that was in the front office and they're no longer in the front office. And, that's when you start to get information. Once time has passed, you're no longer associated with that team, and now you're out for self. You're writing a book or something like that. Then we start to get some of the information that was missing from the story when it first broke. Time has passed and elapsed. Calvin Johnson is now, he's like, yeah, I don't mind talking about the shit now. I'm not going back, play for the Lions. And right now we're not cool. So I don't mind speaking about it. He's like, yeah, I would have played for any other team. I didn't know that, because normally when guys like Calvin Johnson decide they don't want to play for the team that they're on, they've got a list. Remember when Russell Wilson, that came out and his camp was like, hey, look, Russ hasn't asked for any trade, but just in case you decide to do something crazy, here's the list of teams we'd like to go to. Remember when Jamal Adams wanted out of New York? And normally when guys act crazy and they want out, you're thinking they want to go anywhere, right? Jamal Adams is like, hey, I want out of here, but if you're going to send me somewhere, here's the list of teams I want to go to. Calvin Johnson was like, nah, there's no list. I just wanted to be anywhere but Detroit. Let me out of here. I'll go anywhere. Hey, you can send me to Cincinnati. They stink too. I just want out of here. Now, he says that now, but when he was playing, I don't think he would have wanted to go from Detroit to Cincinnati, another downtrodden franchise that hasn't won anything of note. I don't think he was looking to do that. That's a lateral move from one bad situation to another. But in his frame of mind at that time, he's like, nothing can be worse than Detroit Lions. Nothing can be worse than this. So he wanted out. That is amazing. Just amazing. So I digress. I just thought that was something to bring up. And wow. The Detroit Lions, man. Not one, but two. That's crazy. We're going to take a quick break. We will come back on the other side, and then we'll get into the nostalgia that is Flashback Friday. You are tuned in to the 174th installment of the LouieTeeNetwork podcast. We'll get a word from our sponsors, and I will see you on the other side. I want to take the time first to thank Manscaped for sponsoring the LouieTeeNetwork podcast. Summer's coming. Are you ready to unveil your beach bod? You're in luck. Our friends over at Manscaped just launched their 4th generation performance package, which includes the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Compliment your dad bod or six-pack, okay? I don't want to offend anybody out there. You're working hard, you got that six-pack. Show it off and trim with the leaders in male grooming. The sun is shining and it's calling your name, fellas. Join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get ready for hot guy summer with 20% off plus free shipping by going to manscaped.com and using the promo code LouieT. Let's get to what's inside of this magnificent package. First off, the new Performance Package 4.0 includes the new Lawnmower 4.0. This trimmer is insane. Dare I say it's the GOAT of ball trimmers? Yeah, I just said that. Okay, their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor, a new multifunction on-off switch that can engage a travel lock and gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. Did I mention that this trimmer is also waterproof? In the shower or in the wild, from your chest pubes all the way down to your ball fro, the Lawnmower 4.0 is the best trimmer for you. Want to take your grooming game even further to the next level? The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker to chop your worst weeds up top in your nose and in your ear. And I can attest to this with a massive snossage. This Weed Whacker gets the job done. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary blade dual system. This nose and ear trimmer also provides proprietary skin-safe technology which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. Seal the deal with Manscaped's liquid formulations. Before heading outside, use the Crop Preserver ball deodorant to keep your game in the heat. Then after trimming the lawn and whacking the weeds in the heat, give your beach balls a boost by using the Crop Reviver. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag to bring your comfort and boxers to another level. Get 20% off plus free shipping by going to manscaped.com. Promo code LouieT. That's 20% off plus free shipping by going to manscaped.com using the promo code LouieT. Escape the shrubs and weeds this summer and shine with Manscaped. Trust me when I tell you this. Your balls will thank you, and tell them your man Louie T sent you. Welcome back to the show, the 174th installment of the LouieTeeNetwork podcast. Thank you guys for joining me. Before we get into our trip down memory lane, I do want to read a super chat, and I want to address another comment that is in the comment section. So, Liam C. Thank you for the super chat, Liam C. Greatly appreciate you, who writes, how do you feel about blackout jerseys and a black alternate helmet since the league probably won't let us wear our throwbacks, LOL? I don't like the idea. Black isn't one of our primary colors. It's not one of our colors at all, actually. So I'm not a big fan of black jerseys for Washington, unless they introduce a new team name, and in that name, in the logo, there's black, and then, then you go from there. But right now, no. I feel like with the throwback jerseys, personally, Washington has a couple of throwbacks that they should be allowed to wear because it doesn't have anything. So one of them is the letter R, so that could stand for anything. Obviously, we know what the R stands for, but it's an R. I mean, leave me alone. Get out of my face. The other one is a spear. It's the arrow, and then they've got the other throwback that they're allowed to wear, that they always wear for homecoming, where the helmet is just absolutely just brown. It's like a leather. It just kind of looks brown. So they could wear that as well. Those are cool, but those aren't the ones that I enjoy the most. So I wouldn't be a huge fan of the black. And I know where you're coming from, because I thought about when teams are allowed to wear their throwback uniforms, are they going to allow us to do it? I would like to think that the answer is no, but you never know. All you can do is ask, and the worst that can happen is they say, no, you can't do it. So I would try it if I were Washington. Anyway, I digress. I see a comment here from Hawk, and he says, the Calvin Johnson Detroit Lions situation doesn't reek of subtle racism. I don't know what does. He said if it doesn't, then he doesn't know what does. I think that's kind of what Calvin Johnson was hinting at. So y'all gonna let him go, but y'all not gonna let me go. Really. And he was trying to do it in a way where he didn't seem salty, where he didn't seem like there was any jealousy, like he wasn't mad about it, but he was. You could tell there was animosity there. Really? So you're gonna let Matthew Stafford out of his situation, and you're gonna trade him, but you're gonna hold me hostage. Now, here's where I say it's different, and I don't disagree with you and your sentiment, and I don't disagree with Calvin Johnson. Here's the difference. Calvin Johnson is a receiver, and Matthew Stafford is dependent upon the guys around him, offensive line, and then who he's throwing the football to. If you're the Lions organization and you want to keep Matthew Stafford happy, the last thing you want to do is get rid of the only guy he has to get the football to that's reliable, which was Calvin Johnson. So if you're trying to keep Matthew Stafford happy, you want to keep the one guy that he's comfortable getting the football to. So from that standpoint, I understand why they were like, no, we can't trade you, dude. Like, you're all we have at receiver. We Matthew Stafford needs someone to get the football to. And it looks a lot better from the organization standpoint if Calvin Johnson just says, okay, well, fine, I'll retire, versus, hey, we're trading him. Like, Matthew Stafford's like, why are you trading this guy? Are you crazy? Then he may want out. Versus Stafford and the organization going in a different direction. The organization is rebuilding. Stafford's like, I don't want to be a part of a rebuild. And they're like, cool, we really would like to start this thing over, and we'd like to start this thing over without you. You know, that'd be great because we can get a lot back in return for you and really hit the reset button. So it was like a mutual parting, whereas with Calvin Johnson, they needed him because they wanted to keep Stafford. Stafford was still relatively young in his NFL career. I mean, what are we talking now? 3-4 years ago now? It's got to be close. When did Calvin Johnson retire? It had to be every bit of 4 years ago because he's got to be getting in the Hall of Fame here shortly if he hasn't already gotten in. So you wanted to keep Matthew Stafford happy because you had to re-sign him. So I knew why they did what they did, but I get it. I understand why you feel that way. I understand why Calvin Johnson feels that way. But in any event, all right, let's go ahead and take that trip down memory lane. Yes. Yeah. Memory lane. Back down memory lane. I stumbled on this photograph. It kind of made me laugh. It took me way back down memory lane. What y'all know about that, Minnie Riperton? Nothing. None of y'all know nothing about that. Anyway, I digress. Let's talk about these NFL throwback jerseys. So the NFL came out recently and said that we're going to lift our one helmet restriction on teams during the 2022 season. So it won't be this upcoming season that we'll be allowed to see teams wear alternate helmets with their throwback jerseys that match the jerseys, that actually match the jerseys. Like, how silly is it that, you know, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wear their orange creamsicle uniforms, but they still got on their modern, you know, pewter helmets? Like, that's dumb, stupid. It looks weird, and nobody wants to see that. So the NFL is like, you're right. It is dumb. It's stupid. Okay, you got us. Hands up. You got us. So starting in 2022, they're going to allow teams to wear multiple helmets during the course of the season to match their throwbacks or alternate uniforms. So in the spirit of that conversation, everyone's been talking about throwback jerseys now because to me, the cipher isn't complete unless you've got it from head to toe. Like, you can't skip a step with these things. I don't want to see the jersey without the helmet. I don't want to see the helmet without the jersey. I need all of it. Give me all or give me none. So now that the helmets are back in the fold, I think it's now a discussion that we can have and have it with clear eyes and open hearts and minds. So I'm going to give you know how it is when I start listing things. I get listy, I start listing things, and all of my lists are comprised of 7 items. So I'm going to give you my top 7 NFL throwback jerseys. And I want to give out a disclaimer before I get started. A couple of jerseys aren't listed that probably would have been had teams not gone back to those jerseys. So the Chargers, for me, they're so close to the powder blues, and they have been for a while now. I'm not putting them on the list, okay? I like their jerseys the way they are, actually, right now. I think they've got one of the dopest color schemes in the league right now, and so they're really close to the powder blues. Don't really need to put them on the list. Los Angeles Rams, okay? If they hadn't gone back to L.A., we'd be talking about those blue and yellow jerseys that they're currently wearing now, because those are the dopest. They would be at number 1 on this list, okay? No one beats the Eric Dickerson, yellow and blue Los Angeles Rams jerseys. Well, they're wearing those now. That's one of their standard uniforms. So don't need to put them on the list, okay? So, there are a couple of teams like that. Don't need to be on the list because they're currently wearing the jerseys that would have landed them on my list. So with that said, let's get to my top 7 throwback NFL jerseys. So Number 7. We start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or in those days they were called the Tampa Bay Yuccaneers, and their creamsicle jerseys. Look, you say what you want about the Buccaneers. You can even say what you want about the logo and the Buccaneer with the pirate with the winking eye looks a little soft. Yeah, whatever. Got the knife in his mouth. Cool. You can talk all the shit you want about the way he looks. You know, guess what? That's a dope ass throwback. Okay, that's a dope ass get up, if I may say so myself. Anytime, and you know what I always think about when I think about throwback jerseys is when I played with that team on Madden, what jersey was I putting on? Was there even a debate? You playing with the Buccaneers, you're putting on the creamsicles. Man, are they clean. That, first of all, that color, that orange, it didn't get much better than that orange, man. That is a distinct orange. You know when you see it, and when you see it, you go, man, that shit is clean. Those are cold-blooded. Cold-blooded. Ice cold. Those Buccaneers creamsicle uniforms, they do it for me every single time. And I don't know if Brady will be there in 2022 or not, but that'll be a hell of a uniform, if I may say so myself, if we get to see Brady and company in those unis in 2022. Staying in the orange hue, we get to number 6, and it's the Denver Broncos Orange Crush uniforms. So you're talking about the John Elway era uniforms. Now, they go all the way back to the 70s, but that's when everyone remembers the uniforms, from John Elway and him winning in Denver for all those years, but not being able to get over the hump. Those uniforms are so crispy, those Orange Crush. And I don't think we really appreciate, just like the Tampa Bay creamsicle uniforms, I don't think we really appreciated those uniforms until they went away to those futuristic blue bullshit ass uniforms that they're currently wearing now, essentially. I wasn't a fan of those uniforms then when they shifted to them. I'm not a real huge fan of them now, but it is what it is. They were one of the first teams to kind of go to a futuristic look in the NFL. You know, everybody was kind of standard, you know, base color, big, thick numbers, and the Broncos kind of went chic, you know, and sleek. Smaller numbers, you know, stripes and different types of shit going on and different colors being interweaved, and it was different at that time. And I was like, hey, that's cool. Helmet was a little different. They changed up the Bronco logo. It was the big D with the Bronco and the light. And then they go to just the little Bronco head. Okay, it's different. And nothing beats the Orange Crush Bronco look for the Denver Broncos, okay? That's the iconic look for them, you know. Down to the helmet, and I need the helmet. The cipher is not complete unless you give me the helmet as well. So the Orange Crush, man, it just does something to me. I gotta have it. So that's number 6 on my list of NFL throwback jerseys. Coming in at number 5, I've got a two-way tie. I couldn't leave one of them off the list, so I put them at number 5 together. And call me a homer, call me what you want, but I'm a Washington football team fan, and so these are the two that do it for me, okay? And for me, they're neck and neck. I couldn't decipher between which is the best. I just had to go with both of them. Don't make me choose. It's almost like you're saying, hey, you got 2 kids. Which one do you love more? I can't do that. I'm sorry. Same thing with these uniforms. 75th anniversary that Washington wore back in 2002. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Ooh. Are you serious? With the spears on the side of the helmet? Burgundy, dark burgundy. I told you guys, I don't wear uniforms. I don't wear jerseys. I had to cop one of those. I got a Portis 26, one of the 2002 throwback unit. I had to do it. I had to cop one of those because they were so dope. So you get the deep dark burgundy with the deep dark burgundy helmet with the arrow on the side. And then you get the yellow pants. They're deep gold. Deep gold. with the striped socks to match the burgundy, gold, white striped socks. Man, stop playing with me, man. Stop it. Stop playing with me, man. Then that would be the home one. So that's the home. So the deep burgundy, deep burgundy. Okay. With the deep burgundy helmets to match, deep gold pants. That's the home getup. You take me on the road, and when we wore these back in 07, we wore them at home. But these were more of a road uni. Yellow helmets with the white circle with the red R inside of the white circle. Stripe down the middle with the burgundy outline. That's on both sides. Stripe down the middle. Yellow helmet. White tops. Burgundy numbers and letters on the back. With the big ass patch right here. Gotta have it. Yellow bottoms. Okay. Gold bottoms. And a bright, vibrant, almost yellow bottoms. Whoo! With the striped socks. They're all white. And you get to these little, like 7-8 stripes. And it's gold and it's yellow and it's burgundy and it's gold and it's burgundy and it's gold. And they're just all in the circle. Stop. Look, man. Sean Taylor had those on. I will never forget it. It's the game we lost to the Giants. The year the Giants won the Super Bowl. We had them on the ropes. They were 0-2. They had given up like 90 points in the first 2 weeks of the season. We were up 14-3 at halftime. We were dominating. And they came back and beat us 17-14. I think the score ended up being in that game. And I don't think it was 17. I think it was like 17-13 because we got down to the 2-yard line. Clinton Portis wasn't in on the last play. They gave it to Liddell Betts. He gets stopped at the goal line. We lose the game. They would have kicked a field goal and sent it to overtime if we were down 3. I think we had to be down 4. We were dominating that game. Whatever the score was, it might have been 17-3. They ended up beating us, 21-17 or whatever it was. I just know that uniform right there. Silence is golden. That's my number 5. Okay. A two-way tie. 75th anniversary burgundy Spirit helmet uniforms for Washington and their 1970s R on the side of the helmet, white tops, gold bottom uniforms. Whew. Oh, man. I'd pay money to see those again. Coming in at number 4. I talk about these jerseys all the time. San Francisco 49ers 1994 edition unis. They won the Super Bowl that year. White tops, big white, red letters with the emboss of the black shadow behind it. All white too, so it's white tops on white bottoms. Woo, you better watch yourself. You clean over there. When they were at home, it was the red tops with the white outline and the dark black shadow. The numbers were actually white on the red jerseys, and the shadow was there, the black shadow. Those were nice, but it's the white on white that did it for me. The white on white unis. Man, the red ones are dope too. Don't get me wrong. But the white ones, they do something to me. And I see those, I'm like, all I think about is prime time, prime time, prime time. Think about Steve Young. Get the monkey off my back. Ricky Waters, high knees. They taking me back, man. You're taking me back. And I've done a podcast where I've talked about them before, and I've done a podcast when I talk about the game that's synonymous with that jersey for me. NFL 95 was the football game that made me fall in love with football games. I'm gone. Timberlands. I own you. I told y'all about that already. Don't do that. Look, I told y'all when we go down these roads, this is what happens when we go down memory lane and we start going down this nostalgic path. I start going on tangents. Y'all know how I do, man. It was some fun times back in the days, man. I love reliving it. So, off to number 3 we go. New England Patriots AFL red tops, white helmets, white bottoms. Again, this is one of those, when I'm playing Madden, if I pick the New England Patriots, I know exactly what I'm going straight to. There is no other choice. Those 1996 Patriot uniforms, the Drew Bledsoes from 93 to like 97, 98, those are cool. You know, the Drew Bledsoe, Curtis, my favorite, Martin, you know, Bill Parcells, those uniforms, those are cool. You know, put on the blue ones. Those are all right with the gray bottoms. Those are fine. They don't hit like these though. They don't hit like the Patriots Super Bowl in '85 jerseys, which these are akin to them. Red tops with the Patriot snapping the football. He's down in the center stance, about to hike the ball. None of the other jerseys hit like those. Remember, they wore them in that year when Randy Moss was in New England. They went ape shit. Brady set all these records. They go undefeated. That was 2007. I think everybody that was in the AFL wore their AFL uniforms in that 2007 year. The Titans had an AFL uniform that they wore, Vince Young and all of those guys. That's the one that you see on the artwork, the thumbnail for the show. A lot of teams wore their AFL uniforms in 2007. It was a tribute to the AFL and NFL merger. Those are dope. Those are clean. Red is my favorite color. So when I see that deep, lush, vibrant red with the old helmet, it just takes me back. And it didn't get much doper than that. Those are so clean. When Brady and those guys were wearing those uniforms that year, I was like, whew, I can't stand the Patriots, but boy, I could watch those uniforms all day long. Number 2. These might be my favorite uniforms. They just don't look as crispy as the number 1 team on my list. But these might be my single favorite uniforms to see on NFL players. Houston Oilers love your blues. And I ain't talking about the Earl Campbells, even though they kind of are akin to these, but they had the tearaways back in those days. I'm talking about the Warren Moon, Steve McNair, Eddie George editions. That teal blue with the white numbers and letters with the red, that subtle red outline. Ooh, with the oil tower on the helmet, the white helmets with the teal oil tower outlined in red. I'll punch somebody in their face to see those again. And I think we may actually see them next year. I might slap my mama to see those again. Like, and this is the thing. So I put this specifically on my thumbnail. I don't want the AFL shits. And they were cool. Don't get me wrong. Those were cool. The AFL uniforms with the all teal, with the all teal helmets, those are cool. I don't want that shit though. I want the real throwbacks. I want the Love Your Blues. I want the white helmet with the stripe down the middle, with the oil tower on the sides. I want the teal jerseys with the thick white numbers with that subtle red outline. I want those. And somebody did a hell of a job with their Photoshop of A.J. Brown. I want those. I want it to look just like that. That's what I want. Not the AFL ones. I want those. With the and then this is what set it off for me. The red face mask. white helmets, red face masks. Those boys, man, they playing too many games with me, man. Number one, though. I don't think... These are cleaner. My number one, they're cleaner. I like the Oilers uniform better. But the number one uniforms on the list are cleaner. They're the cleanest. And the color, if they get it right. My favorite color is red, like the bloodshed. But the Eagles Kelly green, Lord have mercy. When it's done right. And so I have the Eagles on the thumbnail from the 1960 throwbacks that they wore like in 2000 and maybe 7 or 8 with Deshaun Jackson and Michael Vick. I don't want to see those shits. They were garbage. I want the ones that somebody photoshopped on Jalen Hurts. I'm talking about the Randall Cunningham, fam. All right. The only thing running is numbers, fam. I want the Randall Cunninghams. The Kelly green, okay, that bullshit they put on in like 07, 08. They have no outlines. It was the Chuck Bednarik ones that they wore back in 2007 or 2008. I don't want to see them shits. Those are cool. I don't want those. They didn't have the proper outline on the wings, on the helmet. None of that shit. It was just bland. Those were garbage, in my estimation. You want to bring the Kelly green back, you better bring it back the right way. If you're going to bring the Kelly green back, bring it back the right way. I need the deep, lush green, the Kelly green. I need the thick white numbers. I need that subtle black outline. If you don't bring the black outline, then don't bring me the jersey because it's not the same. Then I need the eagle grasping the football on the side, on the patch, on the side, on the jersey. Like, don't give me this bland shit with just a number. I need all of the details. I need all of them. I need the eagle right here on the side. And of course, I need the helmet to match. So if you're not going to give me everything, don't give me nothing. And you know what? To make it nice, to finish, I need the stripes. I need the 2 green stripes on the socks. Do it right or don't do it at all. Again, when you would play with the Eagles on Madden, you were playing with Vic, or you were playing with Westbrook, or you were playing with Shady McCoy, that's what you were doing. That's what you was rocking. You were rocking the Kelly Greens. I may not stand the Eagles. I can't stand them with a passion. But you can't hate. You cannot knock the hustle of the Kelly Greens. I'm sorry. You can't do it. So, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, either you're going to do it right or don't do it at all. Somebody did a great job of photoshopping Jalen Hurts in the Kelly Green. The real Kelly Greens. I need that. I need that in my life. He still ass is Jalen Hurts. But boy, he'll go to, he might stink, but he'll look good doing it. That's for damn sure. So, tell you what. That's my list, and I'm sticking to it, man. Quickly to recap. Best of the best NFL throwback jerseys. According to me, your man Louie T. Number 7, Buccaneers creamsicle uniforms. You may hate the logo with the Buccaneer winking with the knife in his mouth. Hey, I don't have any control over that. I just know the whole ensemble from top to bottom, dope. Number 6, Broncos Orange Crush unis. The John Elways, okay? Deep orange, that lush deep orange, thick numbers, blue outline. And the old school D with the Bronco inside with the light shining. Yeah, I need it. I need it. That's my number 6. Number 5 is a 2-way tie, 2 different Washington football team throwback uniforms, the 2002 75th anniversaries that they put on. My God. Deep, 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 deep burgundy with the deep, 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 deep gold pants. Okay, so the top is deep, 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 deep burgundy. The pants are deep, 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 deep gold. And the helmet is deep, 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 deep burgundy with the arrow. Woo! Daryl Green, I remember Daryl Green in those days, boy. And then the 1970s white uniforms. Yellow helmets, white circle, red or burgundy R, white tops, burgundy numbers and letters. And then you had the gold, the bright, vibrant gold pants with the striped socks to match. Those are my number 5. Number 4, 1994 San Francisco 49er Championship unis. White edition. White tops, red numbers, black outline, white pants. White on white. Before anybody was doing the white on white specials, black on black, all of that good. Before anybody was really doing the top and bottom same combination, 49ers did it the best. Clean. White on white. With the old 49ers helmet. Number 3, New England Patriots. AFL edition red tops, white bottoms. With the old school Patriot logo of the Patriots snapping the football. White helmets. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. With the blue stripe, the white stripe with the blue outline on the side, on the shoulder. Stop it, man. Stop it. Number 2. Love your blue Houston Oilers uniforms. Now, I'm not talking about the Earl Campbell tearaway jersey ones. I'm talking about the Warren Moon, Haywood Jeffries, I'm taking it back with Haywood Jeffries, man. Eddie George, Steve McNair edition in their early, years in before they made the jump to Tennessee. The teal tops, thick white numbers, red outline, oil tower on the helmet in blue, outlined in red, white helmet, striped down the middle. And to complete that cipher, I need the 3 thick stripes on the socks. Teal, red, teal. With a little bit of white in between. Yeah. I need them. And then finally, number 1 on the list, Eagles Kelly Green uniforms. If done correctly, you get that Randall Cunningham feel. Yikes. Zoinks, Scoob! Those are so effing clean. If done correctly, you gotta get the light heather gray with the slight white outline of the wings on the helmet, and it's almost like an edge up. They come straight down. They don't merge into the little patch in the middle where it says Hutch. Nah, Randall Cunningham's helmet comes straight down. The wings go straight back. And it's so subtle. It's just a little white outline. It's very thin. All right. I need that. The 1960 Chuck Bednarik joints, they bleed all into the middle. There's no outline. There's no sharpness to that. They don't have any outlines on the numbers. I need the Kelly Green, white thick numbers, black outline. I need the eagle with the football, clutching it right here on the shoulder pad. I need all of this stuff, or I don't want it at all. And I need the striped socks too. So that's going to do it for my trip down memory lane. But the festivities are long from over. We're just getting started here on the Louie T Network. Flashback Friday podcast episode number 174. We're gonna transition into Remember When. Ah, yes. Y'all remember when? Whew, I do. What about you? Y'all remember when? Let's get into it today, man. I got some shit for y'all today. So, let me ask y'all something. Y'all remember when you had an odd number of people trying to play street football? What did you have to do? I'm gonna find out how old some of y'all are, because a lot of y'all don't go outside no more. So y'all ain't never been outside. So if you ain't been outside, this doesn't apply to you. You have no idea what I'm talking about. But if you are of a certain age and you actually did go outside, you had an odd number of people trying to play football. Y'all outside in somebody's yard, or you in the street, y'all trying to play a game of football. It's an odd number of y'all. What do you have to do? I'm gonna let that one sink in for a little bit. Remember when you had to be the all-time QB? Remember when you had to be all-time QB? So it's 9 of y'all out there. And you can't play 5-on-4. So guess what? Somebody got to be all-time QB. So if you could throw, you had an arm, I'm all-time QB. You just step up and you volunteer. I'm all-time QB. And you making dope passes, but let you throw an interception. Man, you throwing good for them. You ain't throwing good for us. All-time QB. Y'all remember that? It's 11 of y'all out there. Can't play 5-on-6. Somebody got to be all-time QB. All the good days of the all-time QB, slinging it for both teams. Throwing dimes. Oh, man. Y'all remember when the all-time QB was in full effect. Y'all remember when the NFL had left-handed quarterbacks? I remember there was a time when it was nothing to have 4 or 5 dudes slinging it from the left side. And it was nothing to think about. It was not uncommon to have a left-handed quarterback. You go down the list over the years, and I'm going to leave out some guys, obviously, but I think about the Steve Youngs of the world. I think about Boomer Esiason. I think about Scott Mitchell, in the Detroit Lion, mid-90 days when he was with the Dolphins, and then he got the big contract to go play. I think it was the other way around. He was with the Lions. Oh, he might have been with the Dolphins. And then he got the big contract to go to Detroit, and he had 1 or 2 years in there. Herman Moore and company, Brett Perriman. Anyway, I digress. There were so many left-handed quarterbacks, man. So many left-handed quarterbacks. Brunell with the Jaguars. And it's amazing that there aren't many anymore. You had Jim McMahon with the Bears. Then later on with the Eagles. Michael Vick is my favorite left-handed quarterback of all time. I mean, him and Steve Young, they're right there neck and neck. I love me some Steve Young. Thought he was extremely underrated in his career for what he was able to do. But it's amazing how there just aren't any of those guys anymore. We didn't have a left-handed quarterback in the league until Tua just got in the league last year. Think about that for a while. There was like a stretch. Kellen Moore, the Cowboys offensive coordinator, was the last left-handed quarterback in the league. I don't even know if he even took a regular season snap. He may have, he may not have, but you're talking about 2000 and maybe 11 was Kellen Moore before he was. I mean, he probably was like 2016, 17 maybe. I don't know. But it was a long stretch there. And I really feel like it was longer than that. We didn't have a left, Matt Leinart was left-handed and he was in the league for a little while. We didn't have a lot of left-handed quarterbacks though. It's crazy. We used to have a whole bunch of them. We really don't have those anymore. It's crazy. But Tua, is ushering back in the left-handed quarterback. Hopefully he plays well. And maybe we'll see more left-handed tossers coming from the collegiate ranks into the NFL. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. I got a super chat here from Gunny Man. That's a good one, Gunny Man. That's a good one. Thank you for the super chat. Gunny Man says, remember Mississippi Rush? 5 seconds, then blitz. It was either 5 Mississippi or 10 Mississippi. It was usually 5. 10 is too damn long. You don't want to give somebody 89 minutes to throw the football. It was 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. You should try to say it as fast as you could, right? Then be like, nah, you can't say Mississippi's that fast. You got to actually space them out. So you up there 1 Mississippi, and then you try to say it all out. 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi. And as you're saying that 5th Mississippi, you already taking off running. Good one, Gunny, man. Good one. Good one. Jim Zorn, another left-handed tosser. Absolutely. I said I would leave out some guys. There were so many of these guys growing up, and we just don't have enough left-handed tossers of the football. Y'all remember when Nicolas Cage was a B-list actor? Like, whatever happened to Nicolas Cage's career, man? Like, this dude went from, starring in some big-time movies to just taking any movie he can and getting any kind of work. Like, he's become a joke now, has Nicolas Cage, right? Me and my fiance were watching Netflix, and if we scroll past the Nicolas Cage movie, she's like, just keep going. Don't stop. She's like, I hate Nicolas Cage and his movies. He's terrible. This guy is in every single, he doesn't know how to say no to a script. They bring him something. It could be straight bullshit. It could be, hey, Nick, we got a great script for you, man. This movie is called The Banana Blast Cage. And it's about bananas in a cage, and you're having a blast inside of it. And he's like, hey, sounds good to me. Let's do it. Like, what the hell is that? I don't know, man. What's crazy? There was a stretch there where, Con Air and Leaving Las Vegas and Face Off with John Travolta. My favorite Nick Cage movie was Gone in 60 Seconds. I love that movie. Some people didn't. I love that movie. And it's like, after Gone in 60 Seconds, his shit just went downhill, man. He started taking on all kinds of movies, and next thing you know, this guy is like a D-list actor, I don't know what the hell happened to Nick Cage, but anyway, I digress. Remember when he was actually a respected actor? Remember when T.O., and I could talk about T.O. on Remember When so many different times. There's the time he was doing crunches in his driveway. There was the time he ran over to the cheerleaders and grabbed the pom-poms and started getting it in. There was the time he grabbed the Sharpie out of his sock and signed the football. There's so many T.O. stories. There's the time he decided he wanted to spread eagle on the Cowboy star, not once but twice, and then George Ice-T came and gave him a forearm shiver. But I don't want to talk about none of those today. Maybe another day. Y'all remember when T.O. stepped up to the podium after a Cowboys loss to the Giants in the 2008 playoffs, that 2007 season in which the Giants ultimately went on to beat the undefeated New England Patriots? You remember when he stepped up to the podium and recited the famous quote, "If you do that, that's really unfair. That's really unfair. That's my teammate. That's my quarterback." That's my quarterback. First of all, where the hell did that come from? Like, he must have been really hurt because he had the black shades on. He already knew he was about to go up there and get emotional. I'm emotional and I can't let go. He also knew he was going to get emotional because he already had the dark shades. You couldn't even see his eyes. So he already knew he was about to get emotional up there. And they asked the Tony Romo question, and it sent him over the edge. That's really unfair. That's unfair. That's my teammate. That's my quarterback. Oh, man. Terrell El Dorado Owens. What a character. Y'all remember when? Movies had dope soundtracks. Some of y'all might be a little too young for that. Movies having dope soundtracks. Some of your favorite songs are off of movie soundtracks. They don't do that anymore. Like, in order to have a dope movie, You had to have the soundtrack to accompany that movie, or else the shit wasn't the same. It didn't flow. You had to have the dope soundtrack to accompany the movie. You know, I think about Juice and how dope that soundtrack was. How about Boomerang? That's a really underrated soundtrack. One of the best soundtracks is to the movie Boomerang. You think about, you know, Bad Boys 2 of recent note. And that was kind of the end of the soundtrack era, was that Bad Boys 2, Shake Your Tail Feather, and all of the songs that were up there and that were hits. They had a couple of them on that Bad Boys 2 soundtrack. Big hits, smashes. My favorite soundtrack of all time, however, and I don't know if this is up for debate, at least not for me, Above the Rim. Regulators! Mound up. Okay, Regulators isn't on an album. I mean, I'm pretty sure Warren G or Nate Dogg put it on their album, but that was on a soundtrack. That was on the Above the Rim soundtrack. How about Anything from SWV? That, and a lot of you don't even know, that wasn't the original Anything. You listen to SWV's album, and that's not how the original Anything sounds. They did an Anything Above the Rim remix specifically for the soundtrack, and that was a smash. The Above the Rim soundtrack, to me, crushes all other soundtracks, but they don't do that anymore. How about New Jack City? Living just enough for the city I'm living, just enough. Know what they was singing at the beginning of the movie? Like, they don't make soundtracks like that anymore, man. Why? I don't know, man. Stop asking. I don't know why. Stop asking. I just know I remember when. Do you? And so that's going to do it for me, your man, Louie T, here on the 174th installment of the LouieTeeNetwork podcast. That was fun. Got another one here from Gunny Man. Gunny Man, thank you for doubling up. Double up. Gunny Man writes, Waiting to Exhale soundtrack again. You could go down. Wasn't that the one with Shoop on it? Shoop, shooby-doop. Yeah, I think that was the one with Shoop, and it was a whole bunch of other songs up there. I mean, we could go on and on. I know a lot of people, I couldn't stand the Bodyguard soundtrack, but that might have been one of her biggest hits. You know? Soundtrack. So, again, I don't know why we don't get that from soundtracks anymore. They don't put that much effort into them anymore. Anyway, I digress. Hey, I thank you guys for rocking with me on this Friday. I really do appreciate y'all kicking it with me as we go down memory lane, man. And it's nothing better than going down memory lane every now and again. Just reliving some of the things that shaped and molded you into the person that you are now, man. Some things that gave you joy, some things that made you laugh, and some things that made you cry growing up. Those were the good old days. Those were the days! In any event, man, that's going to do it for me, your man, Louie T. Get off the bench, get in the game, come kick it with me, your man, Louie T. Until next time, you guys, remember, if you haven't already done so, please make sure that you subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content. Turn on that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And hit that like button if you haven't already done so. You guys have done a pretty quality job of doing that today, so I got no complaints. So I really do appreciate you guys on that. Remember, if you want to get you some of that LTN hashtag Mob Squad merchandise, hey, Mob Squad, stand up. We in the building. As always, the link to that is down in the description of this video, and we'll be promoting that. It's limited quantity. Again, get your pre-orders in now, because once we're done, They're done and they're gone. So make sure you get in on that. And also, I started another channel, CCS, for my card collecting series. I removed it from the Louie T Network. And all I ask of you is that even if you're not interested, to go over there, subscribe to that channel. Don't turn on the notification bell so you don't get any notifications and updates as to when I upload. So you don't have to watch. I'm not asking for you to watch, and all I'm asking for you to do is support by hitting that subscribe button. That's it. That's all I need from you. That would be a great help as I try to get that channel off the ground and maybe skip a step or two in the development of the card collector series. And again, I'm going to thank you in advance. Thanks to all of you who have already subscribed over at the CCS. And for those of you who have not, I'm going to thank you in advance because I think you're going to help your man Louie T out. So with that said, I'm out of here. Enjoy your weekend. I know I will, and we'll reconvene on Monday with a brand spanking new episode of the Louie T Network podcast. Until then, peace.